YouTube, what's up? I am back with Mitt because you guys had a lot of questions, and Canada just produced the wage subsidy for all of us. And I brought on Mitt, my accountant. He's going to be teaching us all about why and how you can get it. If you got the CERB, can you get both? He's going to tell us all about it. Mitt, welcome back.
Thanks. I'm excited to inform these guys about the different wage subsidies available that businesses can apply for.
Nice, man. So I had gotten the CERB. Am I able to apply for the wage subsidy?
Well,
actually, I got the CEBA, actually. Never mind.
Yeah, so you got the Canadian Emergency Business Account. So the CEBA basically allowed businesses that had payroll anywhere between 20,000 to 1.5 million in 2019 to be eligible for a $40,000 loan. That is mandated by the federal government and is given to you by your primary financial institution. If you repay the loan back before December 31st, 2021, you will have $10,000 of that forgiven. And then if you don't repay it by then, it'll convert into a traditional 3-year loan in which you'll be repaying back principal and interest after that. And so that is a separate independent program, so that's the CEBA. But some of the other measures that the government had implemented was the temporary wage subsidy, which basically said that if you were a Canadian-controlled private corporation, you would basically be able to save 10% on your costs related to the employee. So they gave you a 10% reduction in what you had to remit to the government in regards to CPP, EI, and taxes. And so it meant as an organization, you saved 10%. But obviously during COVID, a lot of businesses have had to shut down or had to be reduced, and 10% wasn't really going to make a real drop in the bucket when people had significant payrolls. So a lot of organizations lobbying the government resulted in the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy. So the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy basically provides $837 a week, or up to 75% of an employee's salary, as a subsidy for 12 weeks, and the reporting periods start anywhere between April 11th to June 11th. And basically it's meant to help subsidize the cost so that organizations can rehire employees and bring them on board and subsidize the cost of these businesses continue. So there's a whole calculation that the CRA has on their website to help organizations be able to fill this out. Basically, you outline the number of eligible employees you have, i.e. the number of employees that make over $847 a week and those who make less than that. You put in the total dollars you spent on payroll for that purpose, and then you'll push out a number that whether you'll be able to get back as a refund for the wage subsidy from the government. And then on top of that, they'll reduce it by the temporary wage subsidy of the 10% that you get. But how do you become eligible for the wage subsidy? Because there's a lot of companies right now that are still thriving despite COVID existing. So there's a couple of requirements that come into play. First, you'll have had to have made at least 15% less revenue in the month of March and 30% less revenue in April and May to be eligible for this wage subsidy. Originally, the government said you have to compare it to the prior year in the same month. But the problem is there's a lot of high growth organizations here in Canada that have had their revenue significantly increase and their staff significantly increase. So it really wasn't representative for you to compare March of this year versus March of last year, because some of your business might have doubled or tripled. And so even though it's decreased since recent months, it wouldn't have been comparable. So people lobbied the government again, and they said, hey, look, you can use January and February as a representation of what your revenue would be. So if your revenue, and you can only choose either or, so you got to choose whether you're going to be choosing the comparative prior year or whether you're using January and February as your representation. So if your income has been 15% less than those revenues in the month of March, or 30% in the months of April and May, then you are eligible for the wage subsidy. You can go ahead and apply, and you can do this by going on your CRA My Business account and under your payroll account, submitting there'll be an item called the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy. You click in based on the spreadsheet that you filled out from the Canada's finance website, where it provides you details of how to do that calculation. You plug that into the calculation from the government. You attest to say that, hey, look, I did have that reduction in revenue, and you click submit. It'll be processed and reviewed in 5 to 10 business days, and make sure you set up your direct deposit, and they'll deposit it right into your business bank account. I know from the last few videos that we've done, people immediately apply and then start messaging me on Instagram saying, hey, man, like, where's my money? Give it some time. They're just rolling these programs out. They're going to make sure you get it. And I think one point that I missed is that your revenue can be assessed on either a cash or accrual basis, and that depends on the type of accounting that your business does and how you track your business. So that means if you receive maybe money upfront, or you're receiving money monthly, but the contract was signed at the beginning of the year, you might recognize revenue differently depending on your industry and business. So the government says, hey, you can decide if you aren't going to do it on a cash or accounting basis, but you can change it from period to period when you're doing the reporting for this wage subsidy. You have to choose one or the other. And if you have any questions or concerns, just shoot them in the comments below, and I'll try to jump in and help answer them. And refer to that government website, and they'll be able to help you through the detailed steps on what to do there. And we'll make sure to include it in the video link below.
Nice. And there's some major Canadian businesses that are actually using this as well, not just mom and pop businesses, right?
Yeah, you got organizations like Air Canada utilizing it. I know a number of other businesses, especially in the tech startup space as well, who are utilizing it to help subsidize their costs because business has been impacted by it.
And how can they find you, Mitt?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at MittCPA, MITCPA, or if you're looking to utilize our services to help get your business off the ground and navigate some of these programs, you can go to our accounting practice website, www.gallioncpa.ca.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, buddy. I'll let you get back to your day.